Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, Dmitry Bivol, after the fight with Canelo Alvarez in school, gave Terence Crawford some words of advice, gave him the blueprint to defeat Canelo Alvarez. And he specifically stated that there's only one way to actually beat Canelo Alvarez. But before we get into this video, I would like to welcome you all back to the channel. If you are new to AM Sports Media, we drop boxing related content on a regular basis. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you are a regular member of the channel, make sure you hit that like or dislike button. It doesn't matter which one, but make sure that you are engaging with the content. Now, we know Dmitry Bivol some time ago put them things on Canelo Alvarez, so he is quite aware of what you need to do in order to get the victory against Canelo Alvarez. And he has given Terence Crawford the blueprint after the fight, as I mentioned earlier. This is what he had to say. He said the only way to beat Canelo Alvarez is twofold, really. You need to go in there confident that you can do what it is that you need to do in order to beat Canelo Alvarez, not afraid of Canelo. That's number one. Number two, you need to throw punches. You need to get your shit off. In other words, throw punches to keep Canelo Alvarez busy and making sure that you're landing those shots. Those are the two elements that Dmitry Bivol mentioned in terms of the opportunity, what you need to bring into the ring to make sure that you are victorious against Canelo Alvarez. And he's given Terence Crawford this blueprint. And I am so glad that he's given Terence Crawford this blueprint. And I hope that Terence Crawford does execute this blueprint because it will get Terence Crawford knocked the out. Okay? I want Terence Crawford to go into the ring brave against Canelo Alvarez. And I want him to throw as many punches as he possibly can for two reasons. Number one, he's not Dmitry Bivol. So he can't throw as many punches as Dmitry Bivol. Why? Because Dmitry Bivol can throw punches from a safer range than Terence Crawford due to not only reach, but also height. Not only that, Dmitry Bivol is completely and totally acclimated to the weight, being at that weight versus Terence Crawford, who is not and will not be able to throw and sustain that many punches, in my opinion. Not only that, the other thing is this. Once he opens himself up, that gives Canelo Alvarez also the opportunity to throw his shots and catch Terence Crawford in between punches. I think that that's an excellent game plan for anybody that fights similar to Dmitry Bivol. And I also think it's an excellent game plan for anybody who is a fan of seeing Terence Crawford lose. Because I don't think that that's the way that Terence Crawford could win. My personal opinion, I think Terence Crawford has to stay slightly on the outside. He has to constantly evade the shots of Canelo Alvarez. I don't think he's going to have the level of mobility that many believe he's going to have. They're thinking about Terence Crawford from 135 pounds, 140 pounds. Even the version of Terence Crawford we saw at 47 and 54 didn't necessarily have that much mobility. And you'll see less mobility at 168. So I think Terence Crawford has to be very careful in terms of delivering his shots and stay just out of range for 12 rounds. And I don't think that's possible. So I think it's interesting. I like the feedback that Dmitry Bivol gave him. I just don't think Terence Crawford is the individual with his size, reach, and his advantages. Considering the environment of moving up from 54 to 168, I just don't believe he'll be able to execute that. Jay, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, not that game plan. That's not Bud style. You know, to your point, the stature, Dmitry is taller, longer, and just bigger. And he's fighting at 175. So he's packing a lot more weight than Bud has. And he's, to your also point, he's acclimated to the weight. You know, I'm not saying it's impossible for Bud to beat Canelo, but it's highly unlikely for him to beat Canelo with him going up without acclimating to the weight class. And he's 37, not 27. He's not gonna be moving around like that. That's not his style. He actually likes to fight, and that could be to his detriment. That could be a problem because why? Canelo is a counterpuncher as well, and we know this. He's a counterpuncher. He looks for that. So Bud goes in for the kill, sets himself up to throw punches like Bivol was talking about. He sets himself up to get countered more and more often. So that could be bad for Bud. So Bivol is right about the strategy he employed, but he's Bivol. He did something different. And this is not saying who has a better skill set, Bivol or Bud. So I know that's what they're going to say. Y'all saying Bivol is better than Bud skill wise? I'm not going to say that. He's just taller. He has the measurables that some of the Bud fans said about why he wouldn't fight Benavidez. It's the measurables. So Bivol has the measurables that Bud doesn't have, and the ability to do stuff that Bud doesn't do, which is move around. That's Bivol's thing, obviously, in that fight there. That's what he feels is need to beat Canelo. That's not Bud's style. Bud's gonna have to. Bud can't do that. He won't be able to throw a lot of punches like that. That's not a smart thing, I think, for him. Just throw punches like that. Nor is that his style. But if he employs that, we'll see. It might be he might be taking a nap, or maybe get knocked down and just make it through 12 rounds, but he'll lose. But I know to my counterpart here is Bud loses. He sleeps really good. Sleeps extra good if Bud loses. For sure.
See, my issue is not with Terence Crawford. I'm like Stephen A. Smith in my hate for Terence Crawford fans, similar to the hate that he has for Dallas Cowboy fans. That's what I want to see. I want to see the reaction to these fans that talk so much, these Terence Crawford fans that talk so much. That's what I want to see. I want to see how they react to their hero, the guy that they say walks on water. That can leap a building in a single bound, that can outrun a locomotive. I want to see what their response is in the event that he loses. That's what I'm interested in. Quite frankly, I don't care of the results of this fight like one way or the other, because I think it's a stinker. To be quite honest with you, I think it's potentially a stinker. Because I think you got two guys that are coming to the ring looking for a payday. And I think the reason why both guys are in the ring because they're looking for a payday. Terence Crawford initially said he would never move up to 168 pounds to fight him, and that they make weight classes for a reason. He's not moving up for greatness. He's moving up for a payday. And Canelo Alvarez had absolutely no interest in fighting Terence Crawford originally because there was nothing to gain from it. Now he's fighting him. Why? Because there's a huge payday involved. So I think it's two guys looking for a payday. And when you have two guys looking for a payday and they're not really interested in fighting the other because there's really no incentive in fighting the other, I think you're getting a stinker. I think this will be a stinker, just like this stank-ass past weekend that we got. It reeked of ass this weekend, and I think you're going to see something similar. So you guys let us know what you think in the comment section in regards to this. Has Dmitry Bivol given him the right formula? Has he given him the right game plan, the right blueprint? Let us know what you think. And also, let us know what you think, whether or not this is going to be a great fight or another stinker from the coffers of Riyadh season. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast on Sports Media, and we are out.